Okay, so good day. Let's look at this Cisco Academy CyberOps Lab. So this lab is about reading server logs. So first thing we want to understand is what are logs? Logs are just a way for you to know what has happened before a particular time. So normally we say in security that you cannot talk about security without making sure that you have knowledge of what has happened or what is happening. Right? So you want to make sure that you understand what is happening in your enterprise, what's happening in your system. So that's why it's good for security analysts to be able to know what logs are, how to investigate them. Now, let me use one or two scenarios. If you have a system that, or if you have a website that have an issue, one way you can be able to tell if something went wrong is by looking at the logs. I'm going to open a, let's say a server. Just a second. I'm going to open a server and open a website and show you what a log on an actual server looks like. So just a second, let me log in, let me do some login. Once I log in, I will let you know. Okay, so confirm you can see my screen now.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, good. Now, this is your regular cPanel for maybe your application or your website. Now, you're going to find that if you go to File Manager, you're going to see something like, because you have different types of servers. So when you say server, it's typically a system that is connected, that is serving other computers. So it can be a Linux system, it can be a Windows system, it can be a Linux system, it can be different types of operating systems. So because every server is going, or every device is going to run an operating system. If it's an IoT device, it might run Linux. If it's a mobile device, it's going to run something like iOS, mobile, or Android. Or if it's a PC, it's going to be Windows or it's going to be Linux. So this is a Linux system, right? Now, having understood that this is a Linux system, so let's try to do some little investigation. You're going to find out that you're going to be seeing, look at this folder here, you're going to see something like logs. So this log was generated yesterday. It was the SSL log for July 2024. At times, it's going to keep replacing this every now and then and overwriting it. If we go back, let's say we'll go up one level, then we go to the folder itself. We're going to see something like this. So look at this file again, error log. So this is today. This file is 2 MB. I mean, this particular file. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can.
Good. So this is 2.2 MB. Now, two ways. If I could decide to say, or it's always good that if you have your systems, you have a way that the system can be able to keep information of what has happened. I think people are going to do a small task. The small task is that we're going to build a small script, and the script is going to log details of everybody that have logged into the system. Right? Let me just keep it, let me create a notepad and keep that as a small project. Just a moment. Let me say mini project. So we can do a JavaScript, let's say Node.js, or we could do a Python and MySQL, or we could do, let's say, a LAMP stack application, LAMP stack. So it's going to be PHP, MySQL. We could do this kind of script. What the script is going to do, the script is going to say, okay, it's going to be a page, that is an index page. Then it's going to have a login page, let's say login, register, and let's say forgot password. Or we can just keep it very simple. Login and register. If you forget your password on your own, is a demo, is a demo script.
Mhm.
Then we're going to create a log page, right?
Okay.
I think that's going to be all. So this log page is going to be an admin page, right? An admin page. I think that's all. So just 3 pages. What we're trying to do is we're trying to say, anytime somebody comes to the website and logs in, there's going to be a page on the website that is going to log information like
Permission, yeah.
username, that's the username the person used in logging in, the person's IP address, the person's browser type, the person's uh the referring URL, where the person is coming from, whether the person is coming from WhatsApp, whether the person is coming from Google, whether the person is coming from Facebook. We want to know where the person is coming from. Then we want to know location. We want to know location. So we want to know where, aside just knowing the person's IP, because with the person's IP, we can know what telecom
The
provider the
location.
person is using. Then we also want to know the person's geographical location. Where is this person trying to log in this stuff for? Then whether the person was successful or not. So we want to have some of those basic information. Then the browser,
Successfully logging in or doing what?
come again.
I said successfully logging in or doing what? Yeah.
Successful, we want to know, if, there's what we call brute force attack. So brute force attack, brute force, at times is dictionary based, is where people try to attempt different permutations of different likelihoods of usernames to be able to access a particular site. So when people try to do that, we on our own end, we want to have a monitoring system that can help us detect what's actually happening. So by the time we see from one IP address, we have so many attempts with same IP address, then I think such kind of IP address is an IP address we want to block. I think we can also extend this script application to have an admin, let's say block IP page. So this script can also include a section that's going to say, if we, as an admin, find this particular IP suspicious because of the number of attempts, and I think we can also add count to mean how many times did this particular IP address or this particular person log in. So it will not tell us, okay, this particular IP and whatever, instead of doing it multiple times, it will not tell us, okay, this thing logged in, let's say 20 times, 50 times. We can also put a condition. Instead of creating a separate page, we can just put a condition. Let me do this. Make a condition to block after 3 attempts, right? So we could just add this particular page into that script so that it can do all of that. So what I just explained to you is what goes on most monitoring servers or most systems that will try to check if there's any susceptibility of an attack. So that's why you're actually trying to learn what is server logs, blah, blah, blah. Windows also have its own logs, right? I think it's in one of the labs. We'll consider it later on, maybe next week when we're running the 5 days lab, if it's not part of the labs already on the channel. So Windows, Linux, every operating system have a way to know what have happened. And you as an analyst or as a developer, if you are creating your own systems, either you're using third-party systems or you're creating your own systems, it's always good for you to understand what is happening to your application. Okay, I will go back to the server. We will open this particular file and try to see, we'll just click on view, and try to see what this particular system is reading, what this particular system is logging. Now, we have 17th July 2021, a PHP notice, undefined index, part in blah, 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 blah. So it then means that this particular file have an issue, true or false. So the line in the code is 281. You have it like that. About the same time. So one good thing about logging is that if you have proper logs, they can always tell you what is wrong with an application per time. Like this is a WordPress system now. So WordPress system have its own log system. So I think I fixed a particular website that was bad, that was not opening up, was just widescreen. The first thing I did was, when I got hold of the account, was to investigate the logs. Investigating the logs, you cannot tell what particular script, what particular component, if it's a Joomla site, what particular plugin, if it's a WordPress site, have that particular issue. Then you cannot debug, then you cannot fix. Does that make sense? So now you've now seen what a log looks like. A log will always have time, where the error is coming from, and the particular link to the whatever, and maybe the line. Now, let's go back to the lab. If you check this lab, then we say we're going to build something, maybe based on JavaScript Node.js or Python MySQL, or maybe LAMP stack. So this is what we're going to create. But let's now go back to our lab, which is about us trying to read and trying to understand the logs we have on a Linux server. So what's the objectives? We want to be able to read these files using cat, more, less, or tail. We want to look at log files and syslog, and we want to look at log files and journalctl. Log files are important for troubleshooting and monitoring. Like I just explained, different applications are going to generate different logs, each containing its own set of fields and information. While the field structure may change between log files and tools used to read them, you will learn about the different common tools. Like if you see this now, this is a web server. I didn't need to use any tool to like kind of read it, because it's in a GUI environment. I just identify the log file and click on view. I can see the file. But if you're in a Linux system, you might need to use any of these parameters to be able to, or parameters to be able to read the file and see what is inside the file, depending on what kind of way you want to read the content of the log file. So log files are used to record specific events that are triggered by applications, services, operating system. And most of the time, they are just plain text. Like this one you saw here. This one is just it's a plain text file. So you see it's, yes, just a plain text file, right? You could copy this and save it and to see what's there. So how do you open log files? So log files are going to contain plain text. So you could use command-based programs like cat, more, less, tail. Cat is derived from the word concatenate. It's a Unix command-based tool that can display the content of the file. So how do you do that? So let us try to do that. Let's fire up CyberOps Workstation and let us try to go to this particular. So there's already a log file that we have that is inside the home analyst lab support files. Most of the lab files we have in this course are inside this particular file. So let's just log in and navigate to this file and see what we can do. So what's the password? So we log in
CyberOps.
So, and we try to navigate to that particular file. So normally my screen might be a little bit small, but I will push this to the right and keep this on the left and see if we can do both of them together. So I will go to my terminal. And I will try to cat/home So let me move this to this. Sorry, let me move this to this like this. I hope you can still see. Okay, cat home / analyst / lab.support.files / logs / tutorial.log. Now, so I've just entered. So the question here is, the content of the file should scroll through the terminal window until all the content have been displayed. What is the drawback of using cat with large text files? So the beginning of the file may get lost as cat doesn't support page breaking. So if I zoom this out, just a second. So
Sorry,
come again.
I said, can we follow you up?
It might be hard for
By
you to
doing a
follow me up so that we spend less time. I think you can just watch, understand what I'm doing. Then after the class, you can run through it. If you have any issues, you drop in the group. Because if you want to follow me up as we're going, we might spend like ×5 the times. Are you already logged in?
Yes, I'm logged in. Yeah.
Okay. So I think you just watch, see what I'm doing. If you have questions, you can ask. So after the class, you can now run through it and see if you have any error message. If everything goes fine, then you are good to go. So now let's look at, you see that this is very similar to what I opened for you. True or false? You have, I think you have an IP address, you have a date, you have a get presentation log search monitoring images, Kibana search PNG. This is a file that is already recorded, a log file that's already there. Just like you see this file I have for this browser, this particular file, I can download it and view it later on, right? You see this log file, if I open the folder and just do / edit in Notepad, see what I'm going to see. Does it look similar?
Yeah.
So every log file, especially for a Linux system, is going to have something like maybe IP address, date, then where the message is coming from, or the line where it's pulling out information from, or where the log or the error or the whatever information is. So another popular tool for visualizing log file is more. So I see the difference. So we're trying to just read log files. The first one is cat. The second one is more. So for more, the content of the file should scroll through the terminal window and stop when one page is displayed. What's the drawback for more? Depending on the terminal application in use, it may be easy to display again pages that were already displayed. So you just have different ways to like view that particular file that you already have. Let me see, there's another thing that is important that we should look at. You have another one called less, right? Same log file you want to view. The content of the file should scroll through the terminal window and stop when one page is displayed. Press the space bar to advance to the next page. So this is, I'll prefer this because all I just need to do is I used my up arrow to go back to the previous command I've issued, and I now say more, something like this, and I hit enter. So you see that it stopped at where you have, it's just telling me that I have viewed 10%, 10% of the entire stuff. If I press on spacebar, it shows me the next one. 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 It shows me the next one till I'm done with everything. So it makes viewing a little bit more easier and better. So we're just trying to learn different ways to like view files from, or view log files. The tail command displays the end of the text file. By default, tail displays the last 10 lines of the file. So what do? I just press if you press your up arrow, you're going to see all the last commands that you've written. I'm pressing my down arrow. Okay, up arrow, I go and now say tail. This is trying to remind me something in Python. We call it, I forgot it. Okay, it didn't show up anything. Let me see. Did I spell correctly? T-A-I-L. So I did the same thing. Let me hit enter. Nothing. What am I getting wrong? Can you try that from your end? Okay, so for some reasons, my tail did not work. I don't want to spend time on the call now troubleshooting that, but somebody else tried the tail command. So you see the tail command, this is not very clear. You have the last end of the command. So this should be at least the last 15% of the particular command. Uh, okay, good. Resume share. So this is tail. So this is where it's ended. Okay, so let's go back, resume share. Okay, so that's that for tail. So this is what it looks like, just like what is presented here. Then you also have actively following logs. So in some situations, if it is desirable to monitor log files as log entries are written to the log files, for those cases, the tail-f command is very helpful, right? So you just say sudo tail, because this is a kind of an administrative command. So you cannot just run this only. So you have to add this. So after the tail-f command is issued, the terminal appears locked and does not accept commands anymore. This happens because tail is still running, watching the log files, and it will print any changes written to it on the screen. How many of us program? How many of us program? So I think maybe we'll do a JavaScript or we'll do a PHP crash course when we want to create this script, this particular script. Maybe we'll create this script tomorrow, right? So what echo does is echo just so what echo does is that echo just like put out the information or just help you see the information that you have on the screen. So echo, this is a new entry to the monitored log file. So what will just happen is that this echo, we add this line into this. So this command is going to append. So when you're now viewing this file, you're not going to see that it has added this extra line. So I think I will do that. You understand that more when I start doing maybe the JavaScript or PHP crash when we want to create those scripts, because we're going to be echoing some commands. Okay, I think what do we have here? Let's say we have a cat similar to what we've looked at before. So you also have journal LD logs. This uses the journal.ctl command. The journal.ctl tool interprets and displays the log entries previously stored in the journal binary log file. So journal file is like a file that stores some type of logs you have on the system. So if you come to your command line and you type this, you're going to see all of this. You see some time, very similar to what we've looked at before. You see the process, then you see the action it's trying to create. Starting parts, targeting parts, starting timers, and all of that. Okay, so the journal CTL have some few options, or attempts to say some what other word do we give it? Some switches. At times we call these switches. How many of us have used Nmap? Anybody? Nmap? Anybody? Nmap?
No.
Yes, I've used ML before.
Okay, good. So Nmap, the GUI, everybody download ZenMap on your system. We'll look at that tomorrow also. So we have two things we want to look at tomorrow. We want to look at everyone download to be used tomorrow. Then I will drop a small PHP or a JavaScript document or reference I want you to look at, so that when we start creating this script tomorrow, it's going to be very easy for you to comprehend. Right? We're going to create this stuff tomorrow. Are we together?
Yes.
Okay, so what else again? So a switch we just give flavor or give another way you can actually see a particular command. Like when you say -UTC, it's going to give you using the UTC time. UTC is, I think, universal something. Just like you have GMT and UTC. UTC is coordinated universal time. So you also have versus GMT versus CEST versus, so you have PST, you have various times, right? GMT is Greenwich Meridian Time. EST is what was it called? I think used by these guys in the US, Eastern Standard Time. Then you have the ones that are used by the guys in Asia. So when you switch with this particular command, you are just trying to say, okay, please make sure that when you are bringing out the content of the journal CTL file, please bring out my time using that time zone. I think that's a few things we have here that make sense that we should be able to understand. Okay, it now has a question comparing syslog and journal D, their advantages and their disadvantages. Understand that syslog is a standard solution for logging. It uses plain text, but it has a lot of structure. Syslog does not provide a way to separate messages by the related application. Furthermore, plain text files may require rotation to keep them from becoming too large. Journal D replaces plain text log files with special file format to log message. This makes it easier to find related log message. Just like you see the journal ID, you see the way it's picking out everything and telling us which particular application or which particular kind of file is actually using the stuff. Same thing with this one, compared to if you are comparing with a syslog file. You see the syslog file, it just gives you everything. So you have to like this one now. You see, you have to like try to search out and try to look at which particular script, which particular application is generating that particular file. If this website, for instance, we checked out before we started investigating this, have several error messages coming from several scripts from application, it's going to pull out everything and everything is going to be dumped on this error file. So I want to see you guys tomorrow where we are going to build this script. Who have any programming knowledge before now? Anybody? So because we want to build our own log system. Anybody?
Yeah, I have small.
Small. Okay. So I will drop a small reference for you guys so that tomorrow is going to be very easy for everybody. I will drop this record so that you can also replicate it. So if you have any other further question on this particular lab, you can drop it on the WhatsApp group. See you guys tomorrow, 12:15. For those that are worried that are taking physical classes, you can, maybe your class is going to be before this class or it's going to be after, depending. Maybe by 10 or by 1. The class time is going to be dropped in the group. Okay, see you guys.